and the challenge is to not necessarily optimize your systems and repurpose your content. It's really to take a look internally and say, who am I becoming? Who have I become? And how can I be mindful of who I'm becoming on this road of entrepreneurship? Hello. Welcome back to The Unfiltered Entrepreneur. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I took the summer to kind of relax, reset, be with myself, be creative, explore where I want the doers to go. And we made some very exciting updates. We've been working on exciting updates actually for the past year. And what we have up our sleeve is pretty fun. You're going to have to hold on that till next year. But this summer, I have been taking way more one-on-one clients than I tend to. And I'm loving it. God, I forgot how much I love working one-on-one with people instead of in the agency where I'm not connected with the clients because my team is. It's been so nice talking to you and doing these calls again, doing calls inside of the Doers Club, working with private clients. And one thing that I'm finding myself saying often is we have to become a different person. We have to step into our becoming. And it inspired me to do this episode today because I think there's something to be said around the topic of scaling and doing and achieving. And then there's something else to be said about the becoming, which actually is the foundation of all of it if you really want to get into the nuts and bolts of everything. For instance, let me give you an example of what I mean by this. If someone says, I scaled my business, we scaled to 6 figures, that is an incredible act of, let's call it doing, right? We're the doers here. It's an incredible act of doing. But there's also a massive shift in becoming in this. For instance, you may have to become somebody who embodies so much of a different confidence. Maybe you have to shift your habits in your life in order to make sure that you are taking care of yourself and taking care of your team. You may be becoming a leader instead of the operator, the doer behind the scenes. There's also a level of becoming and being mindful of the people in your life and how you run your life and how you talk to yourself even. And so why I think this podcast is super helpful for you today, and if you're listening to this is probably something you needed to hear. The goal and the challenge is to not necessarily optimize your systems and repurpose your content. It's really to take a look internally and say, who am I becoming? Who have I become? And how can I be mindful of who I'm becoming on this road of entrepreneurship? Because if you've been in the game for a minute, you know that entrepreneurship is just one mental game, right? It plays with your head. You learn so much about yourself. The exploration of self is enormous. The way that you're challenged, the way that you have to grow and change and pivot, the resilience. It is such a game of self-exploration and one that I really welcome, one that I really enjoy. And it's challenging, isn't it? It really forces you to step outside of yourself and view yourself differently. What a beautiful experience to be able to have that. I really like entrepreneurship for that reason, for the reason of how it tests me and pushes me and challenges me. And I may not like it in the minute, but what it does give me is so much empathy. It gives me understanding of others. It gives me compassion. If I'm on a call with someone and they say, I'm experiencing this hardship, it's way better for me to be able to connect with them and say, oh, I've been there. It's way different for me to say, here's exactly what you should do, but I've actually never been in that position before. So every time I find myself in hardship, I say, of course I'm going to get through this. I've gotten through everything before. But on top of that, I also try to think, wow, I'm going to be able to really connect with people in such a more beautiful, deep way because I've now shared this experience with them. So if you're in a hard time, if you felt challenged, if you personally have felt stretched to the limit by entrepreneurship, you are in the right place and you are not alone in it. Your feelings are valid. And we're going to talk through some ways that you can actually audit not your business and not your services and not your marketing. How can you audit this state of becoming? Who are you? Where are you going as a person, as a human operating this business? In thinking about who you are and the becoming of your business, I think the first one, and to me, the most important one, you know me, I love to die on a hill. I have a hard stance on many things. And one of those hard stances that I tend to take is that I want you to become someone who sees the gain instead of the loss. In anything in business, there's this even exchange where you give and you take, and they kind of happen at the same time. In anything you win, you lose. In anything you lose, you gain. For instance, we hear a lot of people talk about processing fees. The 2%, the 3% on PayPal, on Stripe, etc., back and forth. And I'm somebody who says, we're looking at this loss, the 2% loss. How do I cover these processing fees? And I only see the gain. I only see, what are we talking? We're processing a fee? That's exciting. I like that. So sure, you might be charging $1,000 for a certain service, and that 1, 2, 3%, that's definitely going to add up, no question. So if we take a look at $1,000 project or $1,000 retainer, we can see the loss of $20 of a payment processing fee. There's so many people who get really hung up in, oh my gosh, I've spent hundreds of dollars this year in processing fees. And all I see is, they processed what? They processed thousands of dollars of payments. This is a place where you can either focus on the gains or you can focus on the loss. And an easy way to circumvent this is just make sure that your processing fees are embedded in the cost of your work to make sure that you're not losing any money. Shift the perspective. See the money coming in and welcome that. I don't want to spend a ton of time trying to figure out how to optimize these processing fees. I want to celebrate these wins that we have of the clients coming in and paying us. So one thing that I want you to think about is think less about the salary and more about the business win. And this is actually what the Doers Expansion Method is about. It is here to have you change your worldview about business. People leave this course, people leave this freebie, by the way, it's free, and they say, you've completely shifted the way that I view business. Thank you so much. So if you're wanting to become someone who views freedom differently, because there's no freedom in a 40-hour work week. I'm sorry, there's just not. If you want actual freedom in your business, I want you to go take that free course and listen for yourself so that you can understand what that level of becoming looks like. One thing I want you to really redefine in this is what success looks like. Success is a feeling. And why I say that is because let's say you hired someone to come clean your house or cook meals for you for the week so that you have food on demand. Are you going to feel like you're letting your family down or yourself down? Are you going to feel like, man, am I working so much that I can't even do this for myself? Am I a bad adult? Because success there has to say, I deserve it. I'm doing it. And that applies to all of these, I'll be honest. Because if you take time off of work to go on vacation, and then on vacation, you're checking your phone and you're checking your email and you're replying to this Slack message and you're saying, I'll just fix it myself. I'm not even doing anything yet. I might as well. Is that really success? Are you going to look back and be proud of that? Because to me, success in that experience would be I stepped away and I knew it wouldn't fall down. Even though someone had something to ask me, even though something was behind, even though there was a little bit of a hiccup while I was gone, nothing's going to ruin the business that I've built. Not in a week, not in 4 days, not in 5 days. Like, we're okay. Is success really something that you can chalk up as an experience, something you own, something you have? To me, success really is that feeling of I've got this. And that doesn't come at a certain revenue level. You don't hit 20K months all of a sudden and have it rain down confidence and gratitude and joy. It doesn't happen like that. These are things that you don't earn. They're things you become, right? Gratitude isn't something you develop one day with no habits. You become a grateful person. You become someone who's resilient. You become someone who trusts the process. Who trusts herself even. I know that there could be mistakes in the business while I'm away, and when I come back, they'll be fixable. I'll fix them. I'll be fine. I know that I can trust that person to do the job because I'm here to help them. I know that we can make that investment because I make smart investments and they come back to me. So one thing along the way that I want you to redefine is I want you to redefine your version of success. And I want you to practice what happens when you get there. What does success feel like? Not look like, not what you have in your closet, not what experiences did you collect. Who did you become in this? Isn't that the success? Because you hear all of these people who have achieved great things. And you know what they say? I'm proud of myself. Or they say, I wasted so much time being so mean to myself. I wasted so much time on my vacations, not even enjoying it. And I want you to enjoy it. How do we do that? We do that by becoming somebody who is grateful. We don't wait for that gratitude and we don't earn it. Somebody who is joyful, not only in the good times, but in the bad times too. You become that person. With that, there's also this conversation in entrepreneurship about perfectionism, imperfectionism, incomplete, messy action. You hear me say that all the time. And I think that one thing we have to become in this version of ourselves, in this entrepreneurial journey, is somebody who can make quick decisions. And quick decisions doesn't make you smart. It doesn't mean you have all the information. And it doesn't even mean that you trust the decision. There is no amount of scaling you can do that provides you certainty. I hate to say it. What it can give you is the worldview that if you pivot, you change your mind. If you say, ooh, that was the wrong choice, we have to shift away. It shows you that when and if you make those pivots, that you're fine, that you're taken care of, that you're safe. What's interesting is not necessarily did you choose well, but did you adapt well after the choice? It's really less about the choice if you think about it. For instance, if someone comes to me and says, should we be building the website on WordPress, Webflow, or Show It? And I say, Show It. I'm not necessarily fully trusting that decision. What I am trusting is I'm going to keep a close watch on this. And if I start to see things go south, we're changing, we're shifting, we're moving. So I'm not necessarily fully trusting my decisions as much as I trust myself, as much as I trust the people I have hired to go out there and keep me informed on how this decision really affects the business. I want them to report back to me and say, we got a problem, boss. And that's the becoming piece is, do you trust yourself to say, I know when to change gears? Part of that is saying, I'm not falling victim to this sunk cost fallacy. And if you're not familiar with that word, sunk cost fallacy, the idea here is I've put so much into this, I can't pivot away. Yes, you can. And that is what makes a leader. That is the person you want to become. The person who does not say, but I've been doing this for so long, I have to keep it up. No, you don't. No, you don't. This sunk cost fallacy of should I stay, should I go, sometimes keeps us in the wrong place for way too long. So in this world of becoming a different entrepreneur and being the entrepreneur that you want to be, I want you to really consider, are you the entrepreneur who pivots or are you the entrepreneur who stays stuck because you've committed? I think one of the hardest things to become, though, in this world of entrepreneurship is someone who doesn't lose sight of the big picture, or maybe has to learn how to see the big picture. Something that you'll hear a lot in entrepreneurship is that you need to see the forest through the trees. And I want to give you an example of what that could look like. Let's say I dropped you in the middle of a forest, okay, woods everywhere, and you're looking around and there's these big trees everywhere, and think of each of those trees as a problem in your business. You walk over here, you run into a tree, oh, that's a problem with your contractor. You go over here, oh, you run into a tree, that's you needing to sell more. You have to do your bookkeeping, you have to get contracts, you have to do your branding, you have to keep up on social, like all of those are the trees. And it's kind of all you can see. You don't see a way out. So when people say they want you to see the forest through the trees, they're kind of saying you need to have enough vision to almost pull yourself out of that forest and see the entire picture. You may not have a pathway when you're in the forest, but when you get out of the trees of it all, you'll be able to say that is the direction. The goal in all of this is to see everything in one ecosystem. And it's hard, man. And I'll tell you what, I've had a really hard time with this many times in my career. Because what happens is you say, how am I supposed to see the forest through the trees when I can't pay myself, or when I'm in the middle of the launch and it's not going well? If you have a client leave the roster. These all feel very big in the moment because they are. So in that moment, you have to work through that particular instance, but you want to also simultaneously know we just have to work through this problem and stay in this general direction. It kind of goes back to what I said in the last episode about delusion. You want to generally drive towards your destination, and it's okay if there's a few pit stops along the way. That's another example of seeing the forest through the trees. So in this, what you want to be considering is, how do I become someone with vision? And I think what a lot of people miss out on is this opportunity for a real wake-up call in their business, to have some very honest questions, very honest answers around where are we going, what is the point, and what feels good to me as an end goal. Because if everything you're doing is simply putting out fires on a daily basis, you've built yourself a hamster wheel, and I don't want that for you. Are you building something that you have to keep doing next year and next month and tomorrow and next week? Or are you building something that actually can change your life? Because what's going to happen when you start building a salary is that you're going to realize, I have to go do that again next year. You realize my identity was tied to one output. I wanted the 10K month. I wanted the 6-figure year. I wanted the 7-figure year. I'm not judging you for that. I've wanted those things. There's nothing wrong with that. But with that, what is the bigger picture? What's the bigger why here? And that's where I really want to challenge you to think differently, to open up your mind to a new opportunity, to really take in the fact that you're smart enough, you're capable enough. And I know that because you're listening to this podcast and all of you bitches are, I know it. You have it in you to have a bigger capacity for what your world could look like. And part of that becoming is saying, I can have better. Yeah, maybe I was born into a family that didn't have money, but I can have money. Maybe you were born into a family that wasn't really lovey-dovey, and you can say, but I want to have a compassionate, loving family where we laugh. You get to rewrite that story. Part of becoming is saying, I'm the author, not the main character. I am the person writing this. Nothing's happening to me. I am dictating my story. I'm saying this happens. I'm saying watch me. I'm saying I'm going to make this a real, actual thing. I've redefined success. I'm shifting the way that I view gains and losses. I'm making decisions trusting that I can get through it no matter what. That long-term vision is always going to beat out that short-term survival. And sometimes that short-term survival focus has to get you to where you can see the long-term, and that's okay. But in this world of becoming, how are you becoming someone with vision? How can you challenge yourself to say, it's probably bigger than this? It might be more than this. I'm allowed to. This can happen to someone like me. I am deserving. I'm smart enough. I'm capable enough. I'm able. And now keep in mind through this entire episode, what I have not said you have to become is a morning person. I've never said that you have to become a social media content creator. I've never said you have to become an agency. I've never said you have to become a manager. The business you want and the lifestyle you want can converge and meet and be the same. You can come to someone like me, book a call, ask me in Slack, ask me on office hours, and you can say, this is the lifestyle I want. This is the business I want. How do those two ever meet? How do I do that? And that's also you becoming someone who asks for help. That is the person who wins. The person who calls on people who they trust, who surrounds themselves with people who say, you can do this. As someone who has dropped the people in my life who have told me, there's no way you can make that happen, including my boyfriend at the time, who told me, no one's ever gonna hire you. Sucker! We joke, but I want you surrounded by people who have your back. That healthy relationship is important. The healthy relationship you have with yourself is important. The health you maintain. Are you moving? Are you getting sunlight? Are you drinking water? It's hard being an adult, and it's hard being an adult in this day and age when the world feels like it's on fire, and I get that. But as people, and I know you're like this, as people who want to pour so much out for other people, the core of who you become is a protector of yourself. I am nourishing my body. I am taking time to be alone and to get this workout in. I know that my toddler's crying. I hope that my partner's taking care of him. Or even I know my friends are going to be bummed because I'm missing out on happy hour, but I need a night alone. I need it. And thinking about making sure that you are your own protector also comes back to, you better be fucking nice to yourself. You have to. You have to stop the thoughts the second that you notice them happening and say, I see myself saying I can't do this. I see myself saying I've tried for so long and it still isn't working, and knowing it has nothing to do with you. I want you to be kind to yourself. I want you to give yourself grace. I want you to look yourself in the mirror and say, you're a fucking badass. I'm so proud of you. Because I'm proud of you. And I know I'm not alone in that. And if you would be proud of someone who you love, who's taken the steps that you have with bravery, with courage, and I don't care if you're scared, doing it scared is brave, okay? But if you were to look at one of your friends and say, I'm proud of you, then please be a friend to yourself as well. Because as much as I want you to work on the business, and as much as I want you to work on the vision and giving yourself the space to make good decisions and pivot, I more than anything want you to nurture that relationship with yourself, because if you think that you're going to be successful with the way you talk about yourself and you talk about yourself nasty, you're not going to enjoy the road and it's not going to work out the way you think. In this world of becoming, the number one thing you have to become is your friend. And that made me sound like some Sesame Street bullshit, but it just came out of my old noggin. And that's my gift to you. I think we'll leave on that note. Just know that I've got your back. I love you. I'm here for you. If you want to join the Doers for free, the membership is 100% free of charge with our Access Pass tier. We have so much of your business done for you, from social media to email to funnels to freebie to website copy, all of it inside of the library for just $97 a month. Just the website copy alone is worth it. And then if you want me on demand as your mentor and advisor, that's $197 a month inside of the club. You also get access to the rest of the community, the kindest, most beautiful, most ambitious women. I love these women with my entire heart and soul. I'd love for you to meet them. They're incredible. You're incredible, and we want you there. All of those links will be in the show notes if you're interested in participating with us. But in the meantime, I'm so happy that the podcast is back. I miss talking to you. I miss sharing with you. Please share this with your friends. And thank you for your patience as we move through this messy beginning and get our editing back and, find our style again and make better video for those of you watching on YouTube. And I appreciate you being here. I love you. I'm grateful for you. And I will see you next time.